Okay, the third and final step in how to improve your working from home posture are our floor angel and wall angel drills. Now, for the majority of you, you're going to find these quite challenging, and in particular, men find these quite challenging because we typically hold a little bit more muscle mass or a little bit stiffer and tighter around our shoulder area. So before I take you through them, let's recap on what we've just done so that you understand why we're doing it. So first thing we did is mobilize our spine. We did some flexion, extension drills with our cat-cows. We also did some rotation extension drills to mobilize our spine as well. We then moved on to stretching out the muscles that are tight and pulling us forwards, which are pecs and anterior delts. So now we've got to go to the muscles at the back and get them stronger and get them working. And that's where the wall and floor angels come in. Now the floor angels are first. Once we master that, we go to wall angels. So before I run you through the drill on the mat, which I'll be talking about head and spine posture, standing up, I just want to talk about the angles of your arms. It's a lot easier for me to explain this standing up than on the floor. So the bottom position of a floor angel is here, and essentially our upper part of our arm is 45 degrees down from shoulder height. That's the bottom position. And then the top position is 45 degrees up from the shoulder. And that's all we move through. So it's almost like a partial shoulder press. We're not going to full reach at the head. And that's the movement there. Now, things we want to watch out for is we don't want to elevate the shoulder blades, shoulders, as we're doing this. So we don't want a double action. What we're looking for is the shoulders are down and we're just going to move our arms independently around here. Now, if I show you side on, what we're also doing is we're trying to put force back behind us, either into the floor if we're doing floor angels, or into the wall if we're doing wall angels. So we're trying to reach back and then we'll be sliding up and down here. Okay, I'm going to go onto the mat and talk you through the head and spine setup. Okay, so we're on the mat. Get yourself comfortable. Let's talk about the head and the spine before we talk about the arm movement, which we've kind of touched base on already. So what we typically see is people going into a huge arch of the spine, in particular the lower portion of your spine. They kind of dump the pelvis forwards. So all I want you to do is put a bit of a tuck on, nothing excessive. So kind of almost feel like you're flattening the lower back into the floor. But then we do want some arch in the upper back. So you really got to think about driving your chest to the ceiling. Not so much that we then flare our ribs. So think about having some tension here, but some arch in this upper back. Then the head position is key. Now this is when you look a bit funny. So imagine I'm pulling my head and sliding my head up the mat, and I'm giving myself a double chin. And you hold that position there. Once you're in set there, we get our hands to that below 45-degree angle. Remember, you're trying to put pressure down into the mat, and then you're just going to slide the arms up to plus 45 degrees and then down. So think about trying to push the forearm, the wrist, the upper arm down into the ground, and just keep moving under control for time. Now we do see a lot of this where our kind of elbows are there, but our kind of hands are in this position, we're reaching back with our fingertips. So try not to do that. If you feel like you're always doing it, I like to make a fist, and it just makes it a bit easier to try and keep that wrist straighter rather than trying to extend it back to the floor. Now the way I like to use these is time rather than reps. So we will essentially do our floor angels for about 40 seconds, and then we'll go back into our pec stretch for 40 seconds, and then we'll go back in for a second bout of floor angels, pec stretch, and then a final bout of floor angels, and then you can finish on a stretch as well if you want to. And what you should find is set on set, going through these floor angels, you should find it easier to get into position, easier to get closer to the floor with a hand. Over time, you'll get stronger in that position, and then we can progress onto the standing version, the wall angels. Any questions, give us a shout. But that is the demo for the Floor Angels.